back to the WCG for the evening session on day 2 of the second statewide traffic management test match. The test match and the series hangs in the balance. Brennan's 11 fighting back in that middle session, adding 51 runs for the loss of 2 wickets to be 5 for 58 at tea, leading by 41 runs. Matt White was in an aggressive mood after the lunch break. Wasn't fazed at all by his side's perilous position. Came out all guns blazing, getting on top of the Rabies 11's bowlers. It took an absolute jaffa from Michael Johnson to dismiss him, but he was gone for 20 and Rabies 11 on top again. Josh Bowling started his innings brightly, smashing 10 runs off 2 deliveries in a typically aggressive cameo. But his innings would be cut short when he decided to take Michael Johnson on. Another magic moment from Johnson at the WCG had Rabies 11 believing once again. That brought Gavin Merrifield to the crease, and he has begun another rescue mission, 16 not out, as we enter a massive final session of day 2. So it'll be Gavin Merrifield to resume for Brennan's 11, 16 not out. His side 5 for 58, a lead of 41 runs. Can he continue this rescue mission for his side? So it'll be Ryan Schaefer to bowl around the wicket for the first ball of the session. So he bowls now to Gavin Merrifield. In now to full delivery, and Gavin Merrifield gets that away to the boundary. First delivery. A bit of a loosener there. First up after the tea break for Schaefer. Merrifield pounces. Schaefer to continue around the wicket here to Merrifield. And now it's a good length delivery, and Merrifield drives that on the up. Can't beat George Paneros there at that mid-off region. A very aggressive start here to the evening session for Merrifield. Schaefer bowls again to him now, and he drives that on the offside. That's brilliantly fielded there by Pat McGregor. It initially beat Johnson there at point. McGregor was there in coverage. Brennan's 11 5 for 62, a lead of 45 runs. Schaefer bowls again now to Merrifield. It's a shorter delivery, and that might have nearly gone over the fence. He's just come off a hand. Oh, it's hard to tell from that angle, but it just stays in the backyard. Gavin Merrifield 20. Brennan's 11 5 for 62 as George Paneros will come into him now. It's a good length delivery, and Merrifield gets a thick outside edge onto the fence, and it's fielded there by the skipper Rob El-Basha. It hasn't been an innings without its luck. Twice Merrifield has got a thick outside edge and narrowly missed the auto wicket. As Paneros bowl again to him now, and that's hammered down the ground for 6. He's straight onto Merrifield's pads, and Merrifield goes, "Thank you very much." The lead for Brennan's 11 surpasses 50. As Paneros will bowl again to Merrifield now. It's a full delivery and it's driven down the ground, but this time Paneros is able to field off his own bowling. Merrifield has stood up once again in this middle order for Brennan's 11. Can he carry on with the job? It's Paneros again to Merrifield. He gets a thick inside edge, and he's fielded there by Ryan Schaefer at mid-wicket. Brennan's 11 5 for 68, a lead of 51 runs. Paneros will come in again to Merrifield, and it's a shorter delivery, and Merrifield's on the back foot. Plays that to McGregor. Was there a chance of a run out? No. Merrifield was back. Tony Ibrahim now to bowl the 23rd over of the innings. And now to Merrifield. It's a full delivery. It's driven through the covers, but once again he cannot beat Pat McGregor, who has been immense once again in the field for Rabies 11. This test match hangs in the balance. It's fielding like that which helps keep the pressure on Brennan's 11. So Ibrahim in again to Merrifield. It's a shorter delivery, and Merrifield cuts, and he gets a thick outside edge, and it hits the netting on the offside. Comes back into the field of play. And close call there for Merrifield. Nearly hit it over the fence. So comes in once again to Merrifield, and this one's hit on the leg side, and once again this one goes for 6. I think Schaefer might have got a hand to this. Yeah, he has, but can only push it round the post. Tony Ibrahim in for the final ball of his over. And now it's a full delivery, and Merrifield goes whack down the ground once again. He beats Schaefer at that mid-wicket region. It's a beautiful on drive. Merrifield's on fire. Merrifield 36. Brennan's 11 5 for 78, a lead of 61 runs. And it's Robert Leonard that bowls now over the wicket. Oh, is that an edge? It is. He's been given out. Gavin Merrifield's inning comes to an end. And once again, Robert Leonard gets another big wicket at the WCG. A faint edge there from Merrifield, and his high score at the WCG. 6 for 78 as Alex Stepien is the new man to the crease. Scores of 0, 1 and 0 so far in the series. And Rabi's 11 will sense a big opportunity to go bang bang. It's a brilliant innings there from Merrifield. 36, his new best at the WCG. Has pushed Brandon's 11's lead to 61 with their skipper still in the sheds. So Rob Leonard in now to Alex Stepien for his first delivery. It's a shorter delivery and it's a rather nervous poke there from Stepien. Rob Leonard to continue over the wicket here to Stepien. In now to full wide delivery and Stepien goes bang down the ground. I think this might have hit Leonard on the way, but it's gone for 6. He has absolutely moosed at the big man. New best for the series there for Stepien in one delivery. Leonard goes around the wicket this time. Oh, and he gets a bottom edge, Stepien. His brief knock comes to an end. Leonard gets his second wicket of the over and the innings. And now Brandon's 11 skipper comes out. Brandon's 11, 7 for 84, a lead of 67 runs. As their skipper Brendan Scott comes to the crease. This is a massive moment, not only of the test match, but of the series. If Rabi's 11 can get him cheaply, they'll fancy themselves on this wicket. Here, this has amazing parallels to the first test match. So it's Rob Leonard into Brendan Scott for his first delivery. It's a full ball outside the off stump, and Scott leaves it alone. Yeah, if you remember, Scott walked out to a similar situation in the opening test match. I think they had more on the board that time. Here is Leonard will bowl again to Scott. It's a good length delivery, and Scott is forward and defends. Big contest this as Pat McGregor will bowl around the wicket now to Scott. It's a good length delivery as Scott is forward and it pops up on the onside. And there's a minor appeal there from the Rabi's 11's fieldsman. The umpire gives it not out. Oh, I think he's got an inside edge there. I think he might have got away with one. How big of a moment may that prove to be? As McGregor continues around the wicket to Scott, and this one's an in-swinging delivery, and he nearly gets that through Scott's defences. Well, it is all happening here at the WCG. Scott under the pump. Rabi Albasha to bowl the 26th over of the innings. Brandon's 11, 7 for 84. In now to Scott. It's a good length delivery, and that's a tight leave outside the off stump there from Scott. Scott has already had one reprieve so far this innings. Inside edge undetected there from the umpire. Just how crucial of a moment will that prove to be in the context of the series? Scott's still yet to get off the mark, so it hasn't hurt him as of yet. As Albasha bowls to him now, it's a full toss on leg stump, and he goes for a single. Oh, and he was impeded there from Albasha. That's a bit of ill feeling about the catch that wasn't given out. It would have been interesting if Pat McGregor was able to flick that down to the non-striker stumps. Haven't we seen that a few times over the years? Brandon's 11, 7 for 85. A lead of 68 runs. Rob Albasha will continue again to his opposition skipper. In now, it's a full delivery, and it's hit back down the ground, and it crashes into the non-striker stumps. But it's got enough power to burst through and continue its journey away to the boundary. Scott moves to 5. Brandon's 11, 7 for 89. A lead of 72 runs as Johnson will bowl to Scott now. And it's a short delivery, and Scott hammers that through point. Yeah, that was a gentle loosener there from Johnson, and Scott dispatches it. Johnson to continue to Scott over the wicket. In now, it's a good length delivery, and Scott lets that go outside the off stump. Brandon's 11, 7 for 93. A lead of 76 runs. Rabi's 11 will be desperate to keep this target under 100. As Johnson will come in again over the wicket. It's a full delivery, and Scott gets a thick inside edge, and this one runs to the square leg boundary. Well, another slice of luck here for Scott, but it's another boundary to the tally. The lead has reached 80 for Brandon's 11. As Johnson will bowl again now to Scott. It's a wide full delivery, and Scott goes bang through the covers, and it's actually gone for 6. 14 off the Johnson over. Brandon's 11 reach 100. 7 for 103 as Robert Leonard will bowl now to Scott. It's a good length delivery. I think it might have been a slow ball, and Scott is forward and defends. This has eerie similarities to the first test for Rabi's 11. The lead now stands at 86. As Leno bowls again now to Scott, and Scott advances and hammers that through covers. Scott has raced along to 23, and the lead now stands at 90. Leonard to continue to Scott over the wicket. In now, it's a full delivery. It's a gentle half volley, and yes, Scott is disappointed he didn't have a crack at that. Although it might have been a bit of a bait ball there from Leonard. Just feel the atmosphere changing once again at the WCG. As Leonard will bowl again to Scott, and this one's a gentle short delivery, and Scott hammers that to the square leg boundary. Scott has moved to 27, the lead 94. Nathan Hancock to bowl over the wicket now to Scott. It's an out-swinging full delivery, and Scott gets another thick inside edge, and this time it's able to beat Ryan Schaefer at mid-wicket again, and it's going Brennan's 11's way once again. The lead now 99 for Brennan's 11, so Rabi's 11 are going to have to get 100 as Nathan Hancock bowls to Scott again. It's a good length delivery, and Scott plays that on the onside for no run. The young fella has bowled well all test match, as he'll bowl to Scott again, and this one's an in-swinging delivery. Scott is forward and defends that on the offside to Michael Johnson. And now would be the perfect time to remind our viewers that Brennan's 11 have never had a target of more than 50 chased down against them at the WCG, so they are in the box seat. As Hancock will bowl again to Scott now, it's an out-swinging full delivery, and again it's well fielded at that cover region by Pat McGregor. Nathan Hancock in for the final ball of his over. It's a full toss, and Scott hits that down the ground for 6. It's a rare loose ball today from Hancock, but he pays the price. Brennan's 11, 7 for 122 as George Paneros will come into bowl now. It's a full delivery. It's hammered towards Nathan Hancock, who fields that brilliantly at mid-off. He has been simply brilliant for Rabi's 11 in this test match. They'll need him to get a score, one would feel as well, as Paneros continues to Scott, and this one slides down the leg side, and he leaves it alone. We cast our minds back to that massive moment when Scott was on 0. The call went his way and he's capitalised on it. Paneros is into Scott again, and this one beats Ryan Schaefer at mid-wicket once again. It's another poor delivery from the Rabi's 11 bowlers, and Scott puts it away. 7 for 128, a lead of 111 runs. As Tony Ibrahim will bowl now to Scott, and Scott advances, but it's well fielded there at mid-wicket by Ryan Schaefer, who saves a certain boundary. So it will be another record run chase that's required from Rabi's 11 as Ibrahim bowls now. It's full on Scott's pads, and Scott dispatches him to the boundary. The lead now 115. Scott moves to 47. It's deja vu for Rabi's 11, unfortunately, as Ibrahim will bowl again to Scott, and Scott advances, and it's a plain miss there from Scott. It's a well-flighted delivery there from Ibrahim, and he's got Scott beaten. McGregor to bowl the 33rd over of the innings. In now to Scott around the wickets, played to George Paneros, who misfields, and it runs away for another boundary. And that's yet another 50 at the WCG for Scott. He's guided his side to another favourable position. 7 for 136, a lead of 119. As McGregor bowls again to Scott, and this time they've got him. Scott has a wild hoik and hits this over the house. His innings comes to an end on 51, and that'll be stumps for day 2. So unfortunately that decision that has gone against Rabi's 11 has come back to hurt them. Brennan's 11 bowled out for 136 in their second innings, setting Rabi's 11 what will be another record run chase of 120 for victory. Rabi's 11 will have to put that disappointment behind them, as they now have a record run chase to save their series. A series defining day 3 of this test match coming up tomorrow.